Hi, everybody. Karen Roby, Chris Matishik here with ZDNet. We've talked several times, Chris, about Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, and different issues concerning the company. Today, though, specifically talking about Mark and some comments that he made. So just talk about how this audio was made available and what it's really saying.
Well, Mark Zuckerberg had an internal meeting at Facebook to answer questions from his employees because Facebook somehow has managed not to be the most popular company in America of late. Now, some snake-like employee who perhaps should be impeached for their behavior leaked the audio to The Verge. And so suddenly we have inside information of how the great Facebook CEO, or arguably emperor, talks to his employees. And he explained that if Elizabeth Warren becomes president and she tries to break Facebook up, Facebook would immediately sue the government. But not only would it sue the government, it would win because Facebook always wins in the end.
So Facebook, and as you mentioned, that people aren't exactly happy with Facebook, or shouldn't be, given the privacy issues that have taken place. Chris, what is it that Mark Zuckerberg does need to do for people to like or respect him, the company? What do they do?
Move to Fiji would be a good idea, I think. I think it would relax his spirit. Look, it's very difficult. Who am I to tell Mark Zuckerberg what he should do, given that this is the only job he's ever had? Grow up might be one suggestion. He's simply always been someone who drives solely in his own personal and business interests and disregards everyone else's views, feelings, humanity, because he wants to be powerful and arguably all powerful. And of course, this changed a little bit when the Cambridge Analytica scandal happened. But even then, when privacy was quite clearly being flouted by Facebook, what was his reaction? He launched a cryptocurrency because, of course, that's what people who are worried about Facebook's privacy need, is actually to give Facebook all their money, or at least to the system that Facebook runs. Now, wouldn't that make sense to you? It doesn't quite make sense to me. So I can understand that, there's a little bit of nervousness within Facebook. In fact, I hear some of the employees are now extremely concerned with how outsiders are treating them and the things they're saying to them about Facebook. So in this meeting, one of the employees actually asked the boss, what do we do what do we say when people say Facebook is a dreadful company that flouts privacy and really doesn't care about anything but aggrandizing the emperor's ego? And Zuckerberg had a very interesting response. He said, the thing to do to gain trust. He admitted that first he'd been a little too focused on just producing things and not thinking about the perception of the way he was producing things and the things that he was producing. So in answer now, he realizes that he has to, all Facebook employees have to think a little bit more about the perception of things. So his suggestion to this employee, and I gotta say, I have so much sympathy for Mark Zuckerberg in this, that he suggested that the employees should explain as quietly and patiently and lovingly as possible that they have everyone's interests at heart. And people just simply don't seem to realize that Mark Zuckerberg is so altruistic that he actually has our interests at heart, not his, not anyone else, Facebook. No, he has our interests at heart. And that is the little bridge Facebook has to cross, is to persuade us as gently as possible that actually it has our interests at heart. It actually knows what we want better than we do.
That is not a small bridge to build or cross, Chris, I would not say. But as you mentioned when you first opened the article, it is not easy being an emperor, right?
It's really tough, isn't it? Because, as I said in the article, you walk down the street in your gray shirt and jeans and people think you have no clothes on. It's very difficult because you look upon the whole world from your snooty perch and you think, oh, they just don't get me. How frustrating. But actually the fear, I think, is that people really do get him and really are beginning to cotton on to exactly his strategic whims, shall we say. And his strategic, I mean, this is the man who in 2010 patiently explained that he knew that people didn't want privacy. He knew. We didn't know, but he, you see, had our best interests at heart, and he knew already then. It's only suddenly now that he can blithely stand up in front of an audience, as he did not so long ago, and launch a product by saying, well, yeah, we haven't had a very good record on privacy, have we? Expecting everyone to giggle. And even the audience didn't giggle. And so I think he's an interesting position. It obviously depends who may or may not be the next president, but it's quite clear that government and the law is slowly beginning to catch up with what tech companies have been doing for a long time. And tech companies and their lobbyists are going to try and get ahead of that. Ultimately, though, do you want to see Mark Zuckerberg as CEO of Facebook in 20 years' time? I'm not sure I do.
Well, if anything, it should be an interesting ride to see what happens between now and then, Chris. Well, we appreciate your thoughts on this. And for more on Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook in general, make sure you check out Chris's writings on ZDNet. Thanks for watching.